Welcome to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. Dedicated to the evolution of you, because businesses grow when people do. Serving leaders, managers, and people who will be, helping you reach excellence in your work and achieve your personal goals at the same time. Sign up for the free course at clearandopen.com. To me, the essence of all religions, philosophies, and spiritualities are the same if you really look at the essences of them. If you're seeing dramatic differences between Christianity and Islam and Judaism or whatever, you're in the valley, not on the peaks of the mountains, because on the peaks of the mountains, the view is all the same. But when you're at the bottom of the mountain, they look really different. Hi, it's Joseph, and thanks for tuning in to Manage to Engage, the podcast from clearandopen.com. In the last episode, I invited you to make two assumptions about the Great Mystery. One, everyone can experience it, and that it doesn't require belief or being special. Two, it's always there. There's no more of it in a church than in a gutter. So if it's always there, what stops you from being with it? That's the question we're going to explore today. I offer weekly member webcasts, online courses, and mentorship at clearandopen.com because it's my truth that with the right tools, anyone can eliminate the people, money, and time problems holding them back in business. And I share parts of these webcasts and courses on this show because I want to help you too. If you're enjoying the show and learning from it, I'd love your feedback. If you're listening to the show on an Apple device, all you have to do is open up the podcast app, view the full description of this episode, and click the link to leave a rating and review for the show. Thanks so much for listening. Let's start the show. This whole orientation, the Genesis orientation, the being kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and many religions and models have their own version of the fall, right? It's the fall. Islam has one, Christianity has one, Hinduism has one, even mainstream Buddhism has one. The fall is horseshit. How could God be in all places and all things and everywhere and all times, yet we've been kicked out of it? Huh? Where would we go? Where would it go? So when you meditate, because I know you're a meditator, Kurt, have the orientation be, start with, I'm not looking to get anything or to go anywhere. It's just about abiding with what's here and finding in you the aspect of you that is the great mystery. Even finding that is too strong a word. How about allowing for the great mystery in you to abide with the great mystery that is in everything? Allowing. Because there's nothing to do. It's not like you're building some bridge in you to get to the divine that is like, a mile up or something. Not like you're building some ladder. Okay, we're going to get... No, it's there. You've proven it. You experienced it. So just keep remembering, oh no, it's already here, which is a belief, perhaps, if you're not experiencing it, but it's a belief with the intention of experiencing it. Angel, I'm so curious to how this is landing with you. I'm trying to read your body language. Is this sufficiently non-denominational?
You
ever read the Gospel of St. Thomas?
Not that I can't recall things like that. I'm sure it's been read to me, and I sure have read it.
Not necessarily. The Gospel of Thomas is not canon. Hasn't been rejected by the church, but it hasn't been accepted either. But the Gospel of Thomas is the most esoteric Christianity there is in any of the Gospels. And that's what we're talking about here. Is to me, and I know I always risk offending or alienating people when I talk about God because it's on the God, sex, money, and power list. But to me, the essence of all religions, philosophies, and spiritualities are the same if you really look at the essences of them. If you're seeing dramatic differences between Christianity and Islam and Judaism or whatever, you're in the valley, not on the peaks of the mountains, because on the peaks of the mountains, the view is all the same. But when you're at the bottom of the mountain, they look really different. So when I speak about this kind of stuff, I'm speaking to the essences of the teachings, which are not typically talked about in our world. Just the idea that there's not more God in a church than there is on the street would probably offend 1.5 billion people in the world, even though it makes perfect sense, right? And can't be argued with. But the tragedy of that, as I said, is, well, the idea that there's more God in the church is really great if your church is in any way a scheme to make money, isn't it? Which was what Catholicism did in Europe for several hundred years, and Islam certainly did, and everybody did that. They're like, hey, wait a minute. If we tell them God is everywhere in all things, then why should they come to church on Sundays and bring their money? Well, it's omnipresent, but there's especially more of it here. That's sort of how they vibe it.
Well, it's a mortal sin to not go to mass in Catholicism.
Yeah, everybody's got different. I'm not saying one shouldn't go. I'm just saying it's an area to focus. And
it adds to your struggle.
Exactly. It just has to be. It's nuanced.
I mean, even and you've touched on it in the past, where in any religion, but let's say for me in my practice, there's no relativism. There is absolute there in terms of if you subscribe to that, like you brought up contraception and things like that in Catholicism, which is a big no, as per the fact that the whole thing is based on procreation. So what are you,
Mm-hmm.
But
backing off their policies on that,
right? But so from a personal standpoint, I suppose my struggle, and I was actually talking to my mom about this because for me, praying causes anxiety. It doesn't give me peace.
Okay, then you should change the way you pray.
Perhaps. Perhaps. There's a lot of fear built into my prayer, that's for sure. And it's ever present. Absolutely. I speak in fear when I'm praying. Something that I've been trying to, which we touched on today, that I've been trying to put into practice is just say prayers of thanks, continuous thank you for, and thank you for. I've actually been trying to not say anything but that. And then, talking about a sort of release to what Kurt was talking about, one of the biggest things that I is where maybe I feel peace is when I relent and I say, it can't be me. It's definitely not me. Mm-hmm. Not in my hands. Take it. Mm-hmm. So that's how what you're saying relates to me. And then the rest of it, by no means am I near that. And my mom is a very devout Catholic, so it's very much in the forefront of my family dynamic. Where I struggle with that and relates to what you're saying is that I suppose, how do I say it? A lot of times what I tell her is, I'm not where you're at. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not.
How honest of you. That's cool.
And sometimes I ask her to kind of back off because her intensity turns me off. It does the opposite to me. It removes curiosity. It ups the anxiety. It does all the things she's trying for it not to do. It's doing those things. So I don't know.
Well, I'm glad. Well, I know I've kept you all 5 minutes late, and not that I can keep you from doing anything, but thank you for doing it, because I wanted to make sure your head was down. I didn't know how to read your body language and make sure all this was going in okay. And the last thing I want to say is one of the best reasons to see through to the essence of all teachings in this way is, when you do have someone who is really wrapped up in a, denser version of a particular model, and you look at them and go, I don't really know what you're talking about. It will help you connect with them, because everything is true. And some things are truer than others. But everything is true. Some things about what your mother is talking about, there's some essence in there. And if you can find that, you'll be able to connect with her a lot better. It may not be easy, but it's worth doing. Especially if you're going to be talking to her anyway, you might as well connect with her essence. Thanks for listening to Manage to Engage, the Clear and Open podcast. Join us next week when you'll be a little bit closer to who you're destined to be. Until then, know that Clear and Open is dedicated to the evolution of you, because businesses grow when people do. If you want to help the show grow, I'd appreciate you leaving a rating and review on iTunes. All you have to do is open the Apple Podcasts app, view the full description of the episode, and click the link to leave a rating and review. Or you can go to clearandopen.com/review and it will bring you to the right place. If you're looking for more support on your journey, head over to clearandopen.com for even more tools, articles, and free resources. Thanks so much for listening. Bye for now.